We're back here on the John Fourcade Show. One of our John Fourcade specials this week is a 2017 Ford Fusion SC. Sale price $20,900 plus tax, plus 0% interest for 72 months. Again, a 2017 Ford Fusion SC. Sale price $20,900 plus tax, plus you get 0% interest for 72 months. Can't find a better deal than right here at Veterans Ford. We're back here on the John Fourcade Show. John, the AFC NFC Championship game, it's the two teams we thought would win it, but not in the fashion. And I mean, because the margin of victory, these weren't really competitive in the second half of the game. New England 37-17, Brady 384 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Chris Hogan, Edelman combined for almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Certainly a big difference. The turnover ratio, the Steelers turned the ball over twice, 1 interception, 1 fumble. The Patriots, El Zippo, nothing there. The 7th Super Bowl for Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. I put this out on social media that I don't care if you're 2 or 92. You never live long enough to see another quarterback, head coach combination get to more Super Bowls than what Brady and Belichick have got to. You think about all the interchangeable parts around those two guys, and yet they still get it done. And this really was no game to begin with. No. They just blew them off the turf. The Pittsburgh Steelers had no answer defensively, and you can see, as we've talked about all year long, the steady decline in play in Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, before we go there, when you start talking about the Patriots and Belichick and Brady, kind of reminds you about how the new president of the United States is getting treated now. That's what people are treating these guys like they have done. So get off the the cheating and the Deflategate and everything else. These guys win. They are winners. I tell you right now, everybody in the league would rather go play for Belichick and have Brady as your quarterback. Now let's get back to the game. You're right about one thing. Roethlisberger did not play well all season. People kept saying about Pittsburgh Steelers. I didn't think that Kansas City was going to lose the game to them, but they did. And for your sake, you hung in there because you had a little bet over in Vegas. But my take on this is when I knew Pittsburgh wasn't going to be able to hang in there against New England, they made no adjustments. And that's been classified and known out there. Where were your adjustments being made? None whatsoever. They talk about Tomlin, all they want about great winner. The guy just doesn't make great adjustments. They got a good team in Pittsburgh, but let's be honest. That best football club out there was the New England Patriots. Dominated that football game from the start to the finish. Got a lot better in the second half for the Patriots, but my hat goes off for what the Patriots can do. And look what they have done it with. Look who these receivers are that are getting it done for the New England Patriots. You talk about a team that can go out and get nobody and make them look great. And people say, oh, Tom Brady is just a system quarterback. Excuse me.
System?
He's got no receivers in the last 10 years, and he's done what he's done with these football clubs and these football players.
Consider who was the star a couple weeks back? Deion Lewis.
The running back, correct.
This week, it was Chris Hogan. I know a little bit about Chris. Chris works out with a good friend of mine. Chris bounced around all over the NFL, undrafted free agent, goes with San Francisco. And I remember him giving me a call and saying, hey, listen, I signed with the Giants, 2011. He lasted 10 days. You know who he got cut for? Ryan Perrilloux. The Giants brought back Ryan Perrilloux on that team and cut Chris Hogan. And Chris has bounced all over, was a solid receiver with Buffalo, and now look what he's done. It's amazing that you have a vagabond receiver in Chris Hogan. Julian Edelman was a former quarterback turned wide receiver. Danny Amendola's bounced around all over the NFL. You have a tight end, Martellus Bennett, that no one else wanted. Basically, they kind of took him off the Bears' hands. Your best player, he's watching. Rob Gronkowski, he's not playing. It's just amazing what the Patriots have been able to do. The one thing that's consistent is they've been able to keep their offensive and defensive coordinator in set, and they'll do it again for 2017, which is even scarier. NFC game, certainly the Falcons. And, man, I wrote a column a little over a month ago. I thought they look a lot like the 09 Saints, and they're playing like it. 44 points. They hang on the Packers, 44-21. Matt Ryan, 392 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. What can you say? The superstar, man, Julio Jones, 9 catches, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. And again, we go back to the turnover ratio. The Packers, 2 turnovers, the Falcons, 0. And I think early in the game, the fumble by the fullback kind of set the stage for what the Falcons were doing. Matt Ryan, just to me, MVP. I don't think
Yeah,
there's even a debate that he is the guy here, but it's how well they've played defensively the last month of the season with young kids. Vic Beasley, Debo Jones from Jesuit High School, Neal, the first-round pick coming off of an injury. They're doing it without their best defensive player, Marcus Trufant, at the cornerback spot. So they've been able to get it done, and, man, they chiming up points at a level almost like a big tsunami. They hit you with those points, and then they hit you everywhere else, and you got to throw the ball so they come up with turnovers.
You know, Mike, all year long when I was watching the Atlanta Falcons play, I kept saying this is one of the better teams in football. I had picked them from the very beginning,
almost from the start,
to go and make it all the way because I like the way they put this team together. Let me tell you, Quinn is an excellent football coach. He's got good assistant coaches. They brought some right players on that football club. They wasn't afraid to go out and get Jones, the kid from LSU, from Jesuit High School. They wasn't afraid to go take the get the defensive back kid from Southeastern Louisiana, Alford.
Robert Alford and Jalen Collins.
And they're not afraid to go get certain ball players, and they built that team. They built that defense knowing they had a good offense. Julio Jones is the best by far. I don't care what anybody says about receivers in the league. By far, he's the toughest guy to go up against. Matt Ryan is MVP all the way across the board. Their running game is pretty good, but you had talked about this all year long.
Alex Mack.
Alex Mack, the center, and it starts by having a good quality center who can take care of the offensive line. Those guys up front, the Matthews played really well. They played really excellent across the board offensively. This is going to be one tough team that the Patriots are going to play against. It's going to be one of the better Super Bowls. I'm expected to be one of the better Super Bowls we've had in years, but the Falcons showed me a lot of all year long. They were better than what their record indicated. They lost a couple of games, Mike, that got kind of,
the Kansas City game, they
Kansas
went
City
for
game,
two.
San Diego Chargers game in overtime where he kicks a long field goal, which was stupid, and then the Seahawks game when they lost in Seattle, which was
on
a
a
judgment
no call.
on a no call. So Atlanta Falcons are for real.
Another thing, too, is when you go back to the Belichick Super Bowls, a buddy of mine who has done pretty well on the Bayou, but now he's the chief odds makers for the Wynn Casino in Las Vegas, let me know this, that in the 6 Super Bowls Belichick and Brady have been in, those 6 games have been decided by 4 points or less. Every one. So what did the line come out at? 3. So basically, you pick in here, do you think that they'll beat them by more than the field goal? Because if you take the 3, you got the push on that particular deal. So these guys know what they're doing. I think the Patriots' experience in big games, I think certainly will show up in this type of deal. But when you look at it, how well the Falcons have played in big game situations, Rick Venturi was on with us Monday night. One of the things he said, I'll guarantee you, Belichick goes in there and says, take Julio Jones out of the game. Whatever you have to do, let somebody else beat you. If it's Gabriel or if it's Sanu, but you're not going to beat us with Julio Jones.
He did it against
with Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown took him out of the game.
DeAndre Hopkins.
And that's why Pittsburgh didn't make any adjustments, and that's why they're home right now. And then you look at Atlanta. Atlanta's got a lot of weapons, and they're right now practicing, say, hey, Julio Jones, don't show up all week, because we know you're going to be taken out of this football game. You'll get your little nickels and dimes thrown your way, but we got to let other guys step up to the plate.
The other thing, too, is their running game. Underrated with Tevin Coleman and Deontay Freeman. Those 2 guys, man, hit you with a 1-2 punch. If you're a Saints fan, if that doesn't raise a sweat on you to see all these young kids that they got and coming back, and people say, well, the Saints have $30 million under the cap to use. Guess what? Matt Ryan being 31 years old, Alex Mack's 31 years old. You got a host of young kids, and you got almost $30 million in cap money to spend in the offseason. Falcons ain't going anywhere. They're going to be a tough out for the next couple years. We'll be back with more of the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford.